Micah Parsons just requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sick. I'm furious. This is what happens when a team forgets who their guy is. This is exactly what happens. How do you fumble a generational defensive player? Talent. What do you think is the Cowboys' identity, for crying out loud? It's Micah Parsons. I honestly do not understand what the Cowboys gain from doing this. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And lots of Cowboy fans are just scratching their head. You just kind of expecting the players to just take it and take it and take it. And it wasn't going to be long before one player was going to turn around and say, no, I'm not having it. Can't have it, saying all the sort of things, that they say in the media about the player. Exactly what happened with Dak Prescott. Exactly what happened with Ezekiel Elliott. I remember, Jerry Jones saying, Zeke who? I mean, this is completely unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. Let me read what Micah Parsons has posted, which I think that, listen, would it get done? Probably. But now the Dallas Cowboys have got exactly what they wanted. The news. Nothing more anyone is going to be talking about now. Forget training camp. Forget the Hall of Fame game that happened last night. So Micah Parsons is taking a page out of Jerry Jones' book. Literally is. Take up the news cycle on a Friday because this is going to run along. There's not going to be much to talk about in the NFL. On Saturday, on Sunday, everything is going to be about Micah Parsons. And it should be. It really should be. According to Micah Parsons' Twitter, says, yes, I wanted to be here. I did everything I could to show that I wanted to be a Cowboy and wear the star on my helmet. I wanted to play in front of the best fans in sports and make this America's team once again. The team my pops and I grew up cheering for way up in Harrisburg, PA. And, unfortunately, I no longer want to be here. I no longer want to be held to closed-door negotiations without my agent present. Now, this is absolutely ridiculous because there was a lot of, reports about sometime in March that Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones had a conversation and shook hands on the contract. And then Micah Parsons says, go talk to my agent. Now, typically, that's kind of what you expect, right? It's a little bit like, massive big deals, even in the corporate world. Maybe go out for golf, you talk about, the deal and all of that and shake hands for it and say, hey, my people are going to be in touch with the people to draw it up, get all the paperwork and all of that. Lawyers get involved, and people do all their due diligence and all of that, right? I mean, the deal can still break down, right? There might be some legal reason why the deal doesn't go ahead, but you're in good faith. Both of you are progressing together. Now, it's only in good faith if the two parties, uphold their end of the bargain. And from what we've heard and what Michael has confirmed, there's been crickets from the Dallas Cowboys. Crickets. So now, what did Micah Parsons say here? Says, I no longer want shots taken at me for getting injured while laying on the line for the organization, our fans, and my teammates. And honestly, it was completely unnecessary, Jerry Jones, when he said that. I mean, this is the classic case of just being around your bubble that you lose context of the real world. We understand as a business, these are players. You may have all the money in the world, but at the same time, these are people that you want to call family. These are people that you want to call part of your team. The people that are putting the dollar signs, in your business every single day. There's got to be a way that you talk about them. There's got to be a way that you recognize the efforts that they've done. Talking about them injured, it's like you're like talking about a colleague, who's maybe gone on maternity leave or paternity leave or something like that, and saying, well, he's not being around most of the year, so what can we expect? Why should we be expecting any kind of recognition? Or someone who was doing, maybe as part of the work that you do, maybe you work in construction, right? The guy was moving from one side to the other, has an accident, falls down, hurts himself, has to go to the hospital. He's out for a couple of days while working for you. And then you turn around and say, well, actually, he didn't really work most of the time last year. He was working for you. He got injured while he was working for you. I mean, this for me just makes no sense with the Dallas Cowboys. Makes no sense whatsoever. I no longer want narratives created and spread to the media about me. And that's probably, all the stuff about him not being a leader, all the podcast stuff that he does and all of that. I had purposely stayed quiet. This is Micah Parsons. I purposely stayed quiet in hopes of getting something done. But since there is confusion out there, let me clear some things up. Okay, guys? Gets juicy now. I had my agent reach out to the Cowboys last offseason after my third year in hopes of getting a deal done early. Unfortunately, the team did not want to start any negotiations at this point. I was okay with that, didn't complain, and focused on the 2024 season, which, by the way, my guy still had about 12 sacks, despite being injured. After the season, I told my agent once again to let the team know we were open to negotiate when they met at the combine. My agent informed me I should wait for other deals to get done because the price would only go up. And this is just being transparent. I think everyone knows this is what happens in the NFL when it comes to contract times. Players and agents, they want to get the most deal they can out of the organization. And that's just a fact, right? Because we know that the NFL also means not for long. Everyone knows this. You play in the NFL, you could get injured, touch wood, and that your career is gone. So when you're negotiating, especially that first contract, and I think, lots of people, might be talking about TJ Watts, might be talking about Myles Garrett, and saying, whatever they want to say about the talent between them and Micah Parsons. But those guys, this is not their first contract. Do you know that by the time that we're talking right now, there is about 14 players who were drafted in the same class as Micah Parsons that have gotten paid? And would you say that any of those players are demonstrably better than Micah Parsons? Would you say that? I don't think I would. I don't think I would. So what are we talking about here? What are we really talking about here? So he then goes on to then talk about, what before all the other pass rushes got paid, how he wanted to get a contract. So he said, this was before any of the other pass rushes deals got done this offseason. Or I think I missed the spot. My agent informed me I should wait for other deals to get done because the price would only go up. But I didn't care, and I wanted to secure myself as a Cowboy long term. This was before any of the other pass rushes deals got done this offseason. I knew I would be leaving money on the table, but again, I was okay with that. Again, radio silence as far as my extension. Now, I can only speculate, right? Actually, let me not speculate. Let me just read the next one. In March, I met with Mr. Jones to talk about leadership. Somehow, the conversation turned into him talking contract with me. Yes, I engaged in a back and forth in regards to what I wanted from my contract, but at no point did I believe this was supposed to be a formal negotiation. I informed Mr. Jones afterward. My agents will reach out thinking this will get things done. But when my agents reached out and spoke to Adam, and this is forgotten his surname, but this is the guy that is responsible for like cap, and all this sort of things in Dallas. He was told the deal was pretty much already done. My agent, of course, says, of course, that's not done. That's not the case. And reached out to Stephen Jones. Again, the team decided to go silent. Now, guys, it's a little bit like you go for a job interview and then you get that verbal, award. So the verbal offer, here you go, we like you. If we offer you this, would you accept? And then you say, yeah, I think, it's all good. Let's see what the rest of the deal is. Now, you have a verbal offer until you sign that contract. The verbal offer, one, can be rescinded by the company, and two, you can decide you don't like what is in the rest of the contract, and you can say no, thank you. And you don't go about, taking your resignation from your previous team. Been talking, not even using this because I've been so pissed. You don't even, and I hope the video hasn't been too bad. And you don't wait to see the contract, the ink on that contract before you go put your resignation in the old team. You don't do that in your old company. You don't resign when you haven't gotten a new offer signed and sealed. So Micah Parsons saying, my agent is going to be in touch with you because that's not a formal negotiation. I don't see what's wrong with that. So at this point, we decided we would allow the team to reach out to us whenever they wanted to talk. Yet still not a call, email, or text to my agent about starting a negotiation. Up to today, the team has not had a single conversation with my agent about a contract. Not one demand has been made by my agents about money, yes, or anything else. Still, I stayed quiet. But again, after repeated shots at myself and all the narratives, I have made a tough decision. Uh-oh. I no longer want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. My trade request has been submitted to Stephen Jones personally. Listen, guys, there is a lot of things that you can do wrong in football, in business, in life, in anything. One of the worst things that you can do is to treat the people who are helping you build something as if they don't matter. People who are yes, I know players come and go and there'll be another player to replace Micah Parsons. No problem. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones would not stay awake because of this. They're going to sleep well at night. Why? Because they know, they hold a lot of the cards. At the end of the day, they're probably not going to accept any trade request for Micah Parsons. Right? So what does that then mean? What happens? I think very clearly what happens to the team, right? The Dallas defense goes from anything close to elite to mediocre. Let's be clear about that. Micah Parsons is one of the best players on the defense. He's probably the best player in the defense. Without him, there is no defense. Let's be clear. So you're going to lose a leader, a tone setter, and one of the best edge threats in the league. Listen, when teams are strategizing about the Dallas Cowboys, they're thinking, where is number 11? Where is he playing? Right. Is he going to be rushing up the A gap or the B gap? Is he going to be coming from the side? Who is he lining up across? Left tackle, right tackle. Let's put another player there to cover. Micah Parsons repeatedly gets double teams. Repeatedly. So let's just be clear. Without Micah Parsons, the defense is not that good. Okay. What are the options for Micah Parsons? I mean, he's kind of holding in right now. He's there, but not participating in anything. Now, according to Mike for Florio in Pro Football Focus, he was talking about that Micah Parsons, could decide to not turn up, right? And the Dallas Cowboys may make a decision after 5 days to either retire him for the season, which would mean that Micah Parsons will earn no money whatsoever. But trust me, I don't think that the Cowboys are capable of detonating something like that. Because not having Micah Parsons not play for a whole year is classic case of cutting your nose to spite your face. And believe me, there will be teams queuing up to sign Micah Parsons next year if he doesn't play. There is no question about that. So, listen, Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys may be loving all of this. They may be. They may be enjoying the attention, the Dallas Cowboys. He might be rubbing his hand and saying, wow, I could have orchestrated this amount of attention even if I tried so much. To have one of the faces of the Dallas Cowboys put in a trade request, now everyone's talking about it. This is right out a page from Jerry Jones's book. Listen, I'm incredibly pissed, incredibly upset, guys. But listen, I don't know what all of you guys think about this, but you could tell Micah Parsons was very hurt. Very hurt. When he was giving that interview, and he was talking about players that were getting paid and things like that, you could see the hurts in him. It's just about value, guys. It really is about value. Do you value your players? It's as simple as that. And if you don't value Micah Parsons, then let him go. Why draft him? Why draft him? Why market him? Why build him up and then do this? And what has Micah Parsons got to do with Dak Prescott's contract, with CeeDee Lamb's contract? What has that got to do with Micah Parsons? Absolutely nothing. So I don't know how this is going to end up, guys. I don't know how this is going to end up. This isn't just a player that's saying he wants out. This is a superstar saying he wants out. It's not even really about football right now. It's almost saying, I don't believe in you anymore. I don't believe in the organization. I don't believe in what you stand for. I don't believe I can trust you with my NFL career. And that's a damning statement to make. And listen, we Cowboy fans, we jump on players who've left the Cowboys, and thrown shots at the Dallas Cowboys as well. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's probably laughing at this, right? Because remember, Micah Parsons and him had a go when he went off to Seattle. He'll be thinking, I said, well, there you go. Actually, don't know if I can do this right now. See if DeMarcus Lawrence has posted anything about this. Let's see if DeMarcus Lawrence has posted anything about this. Tank Lawrence, what you got to say? Twitter. I'm just getting on X. Has he said anything? Nope. He's not said anything. The drama continues. I'm just gonna check what's the latest going on. Everyone is on the story. Everyone. Everyone is talking about this. Oh, that's interesting. According to Adam Schefter, three players, Trevon Diggs, DeMarvion Overshawn, and 1 year Thomas changed their avatar to include a picture of Micah Parsons. I like it. I like it. Ugh, it's terrible. Listen, guys, I'm so crazy, crazy news. So pissed off. So upset about this. Right. Come on, Dallas Cowboys. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, guys, listen. I appreciate all of you who's jumped on this, guys. Um, appreciate that. But yeah. Come on, Dallas. Do better. Jerry Jones, do better.